Hi, everyone. Today is World Cities Day. My name is Joyati Das. Final day of Urban October. That's the World Cities Day, 31st of October. The theme of the World Cities Day today is valuing our communities and cities, and we are here to celebrate the community of young people. So welcome to all participants and attendees to the first global webinar hosted by Healthy Cities for Adolescents program on its newly designed knowledge platform. With this event, I'm also launching our knowledge platform as an interaction space for young people and all of us who are partnering with them to promote healthy cities for all. As I said, I'm the director of this program. It's a global initiative supported by Swiss philanthropic organization Foundation Botna and managed by New York-based think tank International Society for Urban Health that is committed to advancing health equity globally. Today, out of the 7 billion people on this planet, approximately 2 billion are below the age of 25. More than 1 billion are adolescents. Why is our program focusing on adolescents? You know, the second decade of our lives is a key phase of human development. I don't know about others, it was a very confusing stage for my time during my growing up years. Identity crisis, lots of conflict, confusion. It is an important time for laying the foundations of good physical, social, and mental health that serves us then throughout adulthood. You know, young people are the core focus of our program, not as beneficiaries, but as equal partners to progress sustainable urbanization that leaves no one behind, which is probably not possible without democratization of technology. 21st century is an urban century. It is also a tech century and a century that is seeing active participation of youth as never before. So it is a century where time and again, we have seen that power of young people to mobilize action, local to global, that their active participation bringing change and promoting inclusion. 2020 will remain etched in human history. With COVID-19, disruption, pandemic disruption of the normal across the world has brought health agenda back onto the center stage. Health is a public good, and it is critical for individual and societal well-being as captured in the SDG 3 that calls for health and well-being for all. So as we move forward today, the theme is healthy cities for all of this webinar and young people driving change in their cities in 2020. The purpose of the webinar is to create space for young people to voice their opinions and share their experiences of this very specific, very unusual year, 2020, the change they've seen in their cities impacted by COVID-19. And we'll also listen to solutions they propose for all of us to consider and apply to contribute to UN call for Decade of Action. We have young representatives from cities of the Global South who will share their experience of COVID-19 on their communities, on their families, on their cities. Our teenage speakers, as young as 15, are from our own projects in India, Vietnam, Colombia, Senegal, and Ghana. We also have young role models who will reflect on the response of their governments and their expectation of creating, enhancing, promoting healthy cities for all. This event is brought to us together in collaboration with our partner UN Habitat, Youth and Innovation Unit. They are going to be promoting youth voice and action in shaping sustainable cities for all. And that is pretty much the theme of our webinar and their contribution as well of bringing role models, some of the youth advisors that they've been working with. To get us started though, we have a video message from UN Habitat's Executive Director, Ms. Maimouna, who has been committed to promote youth voice and action throughout her agencies, her time with her agency and throughout her life as a mayor in Malaysia. So without further delay, let me now invite you to listen to Ms. Maimoona.
Hello everyone, we cannot hear what this lady is saying.
I cannot hear either, so can we replay, Shweta, the video?
It is okay now.
Shweta, are you able to start over with sound? Shweta, I can also share if it's not working. Yeah, there's still no sound, Shweta. Shweta, there is no sound.
All right, so I think we'll park it then and move on to getting the event, and then we will play it at the right time again at a midway. Maybe that's what we'll do, but in the interest of course, everyone waiting. And let's get started actually how the event will run. I will invite our young speakers to share their perspectives on healthy cities for all. They will reflect on similar questions, so it'll be a bit of a repeat. So we are hearing actually common themes and unique situations particular to their specific context. I'll also invite each speaker to and introduce them. I request that all other speakers make their audios, mute, and I believe that is already happening. We welcome all attendees who are joining us across the globe to listen into this webinar. Sorry for the little glitch. We will play Ms. Maimoona's introduction message very soon. Any questions that are submitted by attendees will be recorded and responded to by next week via our knowledge platform community of a practice section. Unfortunately, it is not going to be live. So let's get it started. And I would like to invite our young speakers from our projects. And the first speaker for us is from Asia, Vietnam. And I would like to invite Van Nguyen from Da Nang, Vietnam. So if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and also the city you live in and how it has changed in COVID, due to COVID-19. What impact did this pandemic have on you? and your family, your friends, your community? Over to you.
Thank you. So my name is Vo Van Nguyen. I'm currently 16, a junior in Phan Chi High School here in Da Nang City, Vietnam. So today I'm going to give a speech about how I feel about my city, how it changed during the impact of COVID-19 and how it affected my family, my society, my friends, and my community. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my hometown, Da Nang. Is the commercial and educational center of central Vietnam and the largest city in the region, also the fifth largest city in Vietnam by population. It lies on the coast of the East Sea at the mouth of Han River and is one of Vietnam's most important port city. Do you know that Da Nang is within 100 kilometers, which is 62 miles of several UNESCO World Heritage sites, like the Emerald City of Hue, the Old Town of Hoi An, and so on. Da Nang is regarded as a first-class city, which has a high urbanization ratio with approximately 1 million residents. I think Da Nang is a vibrant industrial, commercial, financial, educational, technological, and tourist hub as well. Rated as the most livable city of Vietnam, Da Nang is best known for its unique bridges like the Han River Bridge, which is the oldest bridge in Da Nang, and the Dragon Bridge. This one is really special because it can breathe out fire and spitting water every single weekend. And also, besides, we do have a very beautiful beach that is recognized as one of the 6 most beautiful beaches in the world, and its name is My Khe Beach. So the city is uniquely located among a diversity of natural landscapes, including rivers, beaches, and mountains like the Marble Mountains, Bana Hills, Soncha Mountains. But apart from those beautiful landscapes, Da Nang is also famous for its flavorful local cuisine. You should try it sometime when you come here, such as mi guan, bún chả cá, or it's called like fish ball noodle soup, or bánh xèo, like crispy pancakes. Those are really delicious, actually. Moreover, I think Da Nang is the first city in Vietnam to launch an e-government system in 2014, as I remember, which is also climate sensitive and linked to the climate related data like earthquakes, tsunamis, warnings, and data on flooding, erosions, sewage management, and food safety, as I remember. There's also a hotline, like a website or a mobile app to collect reports and complaints about the social problems about both local residents and tourists. During COVID-19, however, especially the second wave, my city had a very large impact. It was when our amusement parks, playgrounds, restaurants, and even airports were closed down. Lots of people were scared actually because the city authority actually couldn't find out who the FO patient was. So a lot of people stayed at home and become unemployed. The tourism industry was badly impacted, however, and had to put on hold. The government had to reassure the citizen because of the fake news epidemic as well. So COVID-19 actually has a very great impact on my city in all worst scenario. So when the first COVID-19 cases broke out in Vietnam, Da Nang, I experienced the first ever lockdown with my family. Though I was worried, but I also enjoyed spending more time together with my family because my family didn't have that much family time. My dad used to go on business trip and my brother was in US back then. So after the first lockdown period, I was very relieved because none of those people in my city got affected and there were no death cases confirmed by the medical firm. So during the city's second COVID-19 wave, my anxieties like it heightened and I felt sad because there were people dying from the coronavirus. But at the end of the day, I think everything went back to normal. But even until now, I'm still taking caution. I started to build a new habit, like always wearing a mask, sanitizing my hands every time I go out, and so does my family. My friends and people in my community stayed indoors all the time and also developed a habit of wearing masks and using hand sanitizers. My friends and I had to study online, however, which was pretty challenging because the internet was unstable and we found it really, really hard to focus on the lesson and absorb the knowledge as well. Even though everyone was worried, they came to realize the importance of exercising to maintain good health as well. But I think that the biggest majority issue that my city faces is not just for COVID, but in educational as well, because we've been noticing among my peers is that a lot of young people in Da Nang from the age 16 to 18, they use recreational drugs such as hookahs or cigarettes. I think many of them think that using those drugs make them look cooler and more mature. I think they also lack of knowledge, information about the effects of using these drugs, are under peer pressure to use these drugs as well. If I think that that's why they use it. But I also have the idea that when adolescents and youth lack a positive outlet and a healthy self-esteem, I guess, they turn to drugs. Though I propose that national leaders, I think they should establish educational campaigns and organize meaningful activities for youth to participate, such as volunteer opportunities and arts and personal developments and skills training so that youth can be better informed and find healthy outlets for themselves to stay away from recreational drugs. Encouraging, facilitating, and participation of youth and adolescents in addressing community, city issues will also be an effective way to help youth and adolescents better citizens. So I think develop healthy self identities, lifestyles, and prevent them from forming bad habits is a really important thing. So I think that's my presentation about my city and my experience during the COVID-19. I hope you all enjoy it. And again, I'm really happy to proud to be a part of the event today. I'm looking forward to learn new things from other youth representatives as well. If you have the opportunity to visit Vietnam, I would like to invite you to Da Nang as well. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much for that amazing, very succinct, comprehensive, giving us a reflection of your city, how it was affected, but also what are the underlying kind of day-to-day issues that young people face. I was going to ask you about what will be your call for action to your national leaders, and you say it so well that healthy lifestyle, promoting education and campaigns for arts and skill building, but also the healthy behaviors. Thank you so much for sharing. On that note, let's move on to our next speaker. I would now like to invite Sai Preeti Palomani from India, based in the city of Hyderabad. And Sai Preeti is 15 years old, currently in her first year of intermediate. Sai Preeti, could I invite you to speak a little bit about yourself? And again, tell us the city of Hyderabad. You live there, what it's like, how is it been impacted by 2020, and your impact on your family and friends and community. A major issue that probably the city anyway faces, which has been heightened by COVID-19. And what is your call for action from your leaders? Over to you.
Hello everyone, Namaste. I am Sai Preeti Palomani, studying grade 11 in Shamla Devi Junior College, Hyderabad. I completed my grade 10 in Government Boys High School CPL in Ambapet, Hyderabad. So I live in a city named Hyderabad and I'm 15 right now. So yeah, Hyderabad, I would share some things about Hyderabad. So first is, many people come from places to live here and they enjoy living here and they find a good livelihood. So everyone are so connected and supportive, where there'll be compassion and understanding between each other. So our city follows unity and diversity. So basically, I would say that our city follows unity and diversity. And T hubs. T hubs is one of the initiatives of Hyderabad government, where major number of startups are encouraged, empowered, and developed. T hub fosters innovation and growth of all the budding startups, which is a great advantage for economy at large. Um, there are women athletes who are representing India in national and international tournaments from Hyderabad. And as a foodie, I would say that if you come here, you should eat biryani because it is very delicious. Trust me, every person who comes here, even if it's a celebrity or a daily wager, he will definitely love biryani. And there are runs conducted in our city for youth encouragement, like we should not take drugs, cancer free drugs. So I'll share one of my experience. So I took part in drug free Hyderabad run. So they are conducted in a well mannered way in our city. So in India there are very less cities who do this. So our city is one of them which conduct it these in a well mannered way. So coming to COVID's impact on me, so as I was in 10th grade, I was preparing well. So we got locked down. All of us got locked down. So we had to stay in our home, no schools, no tuitions. So I got some time to chill, and I got some time to prepare. So everyone will be like, exams. If there are exams, everyone will be like, I need more time. So I was like, I had more time, so I can prepare well. I was thinking like that. But at last, our exams got cancelled. It was a little disappointing for me as I was preparing a lot in the days where I should enjoy in my house with my parents. After that, as I'm studying in grade 11 intermediate online classes, so they were happening. As I'm new to this, technology, in the first, like I was like very new to this. So sometimes I'll keep it on unmute and I'll talk, and everything will be heard by the teachers. And sometimes if I talk anything wrong, they'll scold me. So that happened. And yeah, at the time of COVID-19, I could spend much of my time with my family, where I have if COVID was not there, if lockdown would not be there, I used to go to school and come at night, and again I have to sleep, get early in the morning, get up early in the morning and go back to school. That used to happen, but it was very less that I had spent my time with my parents and my sisters too. I have two sisters, so I could not spend much of my time with my sisters. And my father could not go to office in COVID time, as there was no permission for anyone to get out of the house, and we could not move to any village. So holidays time we'll enjoy, right? So we go to village and we feel the nature, but I could not do that. So we could not move to villages. And our friends are everyone's friends are we enjoy a lot with them. So I could not meet my friends like physically. Phone, I'll call them or I'll do video call and I'll talk, which was it is just like there's a food in front of you, but you could not eat it. Just feel it. It's just like that. And in our community, we could not talk cordially like before. People are like, oh, she may have the virus, he may have the virus. I should be a little in a distance with them, like that. And before, like in Hyderabad, festivals are celebrated in a well mannered way. You will definitely enjoy the festivals, but this time we could not enjoy. It's just like you put mask and you do you play, that's it. We could
So,
not enjoy
Sakriti,
that much.
can I ask you, what is your call for? I'm just mindful of the time. What is your? It's fantastic to hear your thoughts and reflections. What is your call to your leaders? What could they have done better?
So, in my perspective, there are many problems that we face, but as a student, I see education as a major problem. Everything is practical way. There is no practical learning and practical exposure in the education system. Practical learning is more important than theoretical aspect. With practical learning, young generation will be more prepared for the career at a tender age. Examination pattern in schools and colleges is very much focused on a grade rather than seeing the impact of the study that is taught. The examination is creating a great pressure on students' mind. But not contributing to the development. I would like
Right.
to make a plea of our city as well as the central government of India to bring about this positive change in the education system so that the students and young minds like me do wonder at a small age and foster all our dreams happily.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
I conclude.
much. Yes, please do. Quick.
Yeah. So I conclude by telling a quote by a great man named Abdul Kalam. He said that education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. So we all would like to have an education that we can change change with education, with change our society, and rather than that education which is limited to securing ranks and grades. I wish peace and harmony in all the countries of the world. As in Hyderabad, people are here are compassionate people, come from different places and come and stay here with their understanding and their friendliness. They understand that they should live together for a longer period of time. So that I expect other countries to maintain the same peace and harmony like us, so that the entire world is full of peace and harmony. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. This has been, again, a wonderful kind of, just hearing the different perspective. But I also heard that there's isolation is something that not being able to meet your friends during COVID, dependence on online, the uncertainty of exams. It's just, what we are hearing is COVID does not affect the young people, but in all our conversations with young people, they have been affected pretty brutally, which is not something that people are considering. So great to hear you share your perspective. Thank you. Moving on, we will move now to our next speaker. We are going to move to the continent of Africa. So we now have Serene from TS, Senegal. Serene, you're 19 years old and you're currently in your final year of high school. Can I invite you to talk about the city you are living in and what has changed in TS and what impact this pandemic has had on you personally, as well as in your communities? TS has got quite a few issues. When I was there a year ago, it'll be great to hear your point on what else do you think are important and your call for action to your leaders. Over to you.
Hello everyone, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Serigne Muntaha Mbacké Thiam. I'm 19 years old and I'm a student in terminal class, being the last one in high school in Fayou. I come from Senegal, a French-speaking country in West Africa. I would like to talk about the community action in my city, that is called Thiès, which is 70 kilometers away from the capital city of Dakar. In Africa, as well as in some other continents in the world, the year 2020 started with an unwanted and unforeseen pandemic, which had been noticed since the end of the year 2019 and has been traveling the world since then. It is called COVID-19 pandemic, and it is impacting our society in every human activity. Actually, in our city, despite efforts of authorities and the mobilization of the medical team and civil society organizations, the epidemic continues spreading. To face this able, many community actions that aim to build the community and the social capacities have been carried out by young boys and girls in my city. This helps the community to share knowledge, skills, and ideas that are mentally, financially, and globally demanding in several domains. In case, youth of the movement Siggi Jotna have launched a COVID-19 response plan. They have organized useful holidays of Siggi Jotna, in which they are trying to make the population of the city aware of the policies from the health ministry. Committed members of the Association of Schools, with the collaboration of students from US Online University of Senegal, have accomplished interesting actions at this period. In fact, with the help of the mayor of the city, they are preparing meals for beggars and street people who are not able to go out because of restrictive measures due to the pandemic reasons. They also stay before public places for giving out masks, asking to people to wash their hands and to respect the social distancing. They have also done some home visits in the city in order to sensitize people, families, for respecting the measures given by health authorities. The association, which is consisting of committed students from polytechnic school in the city, have succeeded in creating masks and giving them free of charge to the population living in the city. In addition, The 4 Pillar Future project funded by Bodnar Foundation supported Student Nutrition International, 5 youth organizations to carry out 5,072 home visits. These activities aimed to allow youth people to take the lead in the COVID-19 response plan at the local level. The digital campaign initiated by the 4 Pillar Future project and animated by youth of the city of Chess has greatly contributed to reaching young people with prevention messages, encouraging them to respect the barriers given by themselves and their communities. These activities have contributed to the mitigation of the pandemic and its impacts, such as gender-based violence in the city of Chess. As far as the crafts domain is concerned, the Association of Craftsmen has participated to the improvement of the protection against the pandemic by creating machines, and they give them free of charge to the population living in the city. Those craftsmen have also drawn in some walls throughout the city for sensitizing citizens on the barrier measures. They show some kind of protection acts that the population should do in order to avoid the contamination between them. My speech would not be completed if I omitted the action that the members of the Red Cross in my city have accomplished through their understanding and capacities about healthcare. They have organized days all around the city for citizens and well-being population. I cannot end my speech without mentioning the help of small associations and the burden of area mother that are in some distress in my city. In fact, these associations have helped the police during curfews by warning young people about the dangers of going out during curfews. Indeed, these community actions have truly participated to the decreasing of the pandemic in the city. The community action of young people in my city will continue with the project 4 Pillar Future to guarantee adolescents, boys and girls, a safe and friendly city. We commit ourselves to be the main actors of this very important project for the health and well-being of adolescents in the city of Chess. Thanks for the capacity building we have received and will continue to receive from projects. We will play our part in advocacy and communication efforts for the achievement of this project's result. Thank you for your kind attention, Jerry.
Thank you so much for a really comprehensive, but also what I'm hearing is a bit of a unique situation where you are highlighting the collaborative spirit, the multi-stakeholder response, everyone coming together, community-led action in TS, which has helped actually the vulnerable populations, but also interdependencies, really respecting, each other's needs. But collaboration and coming together to sensitize and support everyone with the mayor's office supportive of the whole response, which is I think, very encouraging for us to hear. Thanks again for your reflections. I will bring now our next speaker. Our next speaker is actually a role model. Yeah. So what I want to possibly bring now Isaac Musa to talk about, you were once an adolescent and you were, very much an active participant of your community. You are in Mathare slum area. Your work is there. Isaac, if I can bring you to talk a little bit about your, as a role model, how did you see COVID-19 affecting young people? How, as a youth leader, what did you do to address this in this pandemic? What could the national and local governments do better and could have done better to enhance and value community-led action to support healthy cities? Over to Isaac.
Thank you so much, Jayati. First of all, I'd like to say my name's Isaac Mutisia Mwasa, but I'm known as Kaka. And as you've heard, I'm a role model to many young people. And I come from Nairobi City, in the capital city of Kenya. And I also come from a slum called Mathare, which is not far from the city. And what I've seen since COVID-19 started is a lot of young people were affected because, as you know, like in Africa, majority are young people. And in Mathare, in the slums, actually, things are very, very hard when it comes to employment. You find majority of the people depend on small scale businesses, and they depend on just working to get. They depend like for $1 a day. So it has been hard for young people to survive. So as a role model, we took the initiative of coming up with the idea of trying to see what we can do and try to help the situation at the moment. So we came up with the idea of hand washing stations. So we talked to our partners, UN Habitat, and other partners like the Norwegian Embassy and the Canadian Embassy. So they decided to support us in putting up the hand washing station. And so far, I can say we've done over 2 million hand washes, and we really helped our community fight COVID because we saw we knew that because we are the majority, we are the only ones who can also help in. We came together and did the hand washes. We also did murals. We tried to send messages to the people and try to see how they can follow the instructions to stay away from the pandemic. And also we distributed masks with the help of UN Habitat and the Wanyama Foundation. They helped us distribute masks to the vulnerable people like in the slums. So as a role model, I took the initiative of bringing all the young people together and trying to make sure that they're the ones who also are fighting to see that we fight the pandemic and also fight the COVID-19 virus. So my message to the authorities and the government is to please believe in the young people, because I believe the young people, they have a lot of ideas that work, and they have the manpower, and they are also willing to help in the government to see how we can work together and build our city and make it a better city. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. I am so glad that we have you with us. Thank you for your time. Actually, the common enemy is the pandemic today around the world, right? And to fight it, I really like it. You know, where you're saying that you mobilize local to global action with UN Habitat and the Canadian Embassy and local level groups, bringing people to do the murals, to give the messaging. That's a pretty, you know, lateral thinking, and which is again not door to door, it's there on the wall and people can see the message. It's for all, and in uniquely you including everyone in that message. So great to hear your perspective, and I absolutely agree that the value of young people today, governments need to take that into account, their intelligence, their intellect, their ideas and solutions. So thanks for bringing that to this webinar and call for action for us to share, as we will. It'll be online and also available on our website. Moving on, I would like to now invite Najat Jibril from our Tamale Ghana project. Najat is 17 years old and from Tamale High School, a very unique context, Tamale in the Sahel. So over to you, Najat, to share with us your perspectives, the city you live in. It's quite a unique city, and also share with us, you know, what issues your city has faced. You know, the UN is calling for a decade of action. What are your views? How can, you know, you see everyone, all the different stakeholders contributing to this decade of action?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm presenting for Ghana. Jibril Najat is my name. I'm a high school student and a resident of Tamale. I'm 17 years of age. Tamale is the third largest city in Ghana. It has the second highest annual population growth rate after Kumasi. It is also a fast-growing city whose population constitutes a large percentage of the youth. Some parts of Tamale have access to good water, good road networks, electricity, among other good facilities. The people of Tamale lived a normal life until there was the outbreak of coronavirus on 12 March 2020, which spread from Wuhan in China across the world. During this period, there was a general lockdown of all social institutions and high demand for goods and services, which was meant to cater for the needs of lockdown should there be a general lockdown on all individuals. Out of fear and panic, the people of Tamale adhered strictly to the COVID-19 protocols during its early stages. Students like me needed to study through the internet, which was very difficult because not every student could access it. Studying in schools now is very stressing because teachers try to cover a lot of topics within a short period of time. There was also minimal access to health facilities and information. Unemployment was at its peak. These challenges hit the youth so hard that it led to frustration, anxiety, and depression among this critical and large sect of the population. This increased the rate of dependence, thereby exerted pressure on affluent family members. However, Tamale faces problems such as housing issues, unemployment, neglect of youth reproductive health in development and planning, limited access to reproductive health facilities. But to me, the most important one, which should be looked at and solved by national leaders, is the high rate of school dropouts and teenage pregnancy. The youth drop out of school for many reasons, but prominent of them all is poverty. As a result of unemployment on the part of parents and guardians, adolescents are being pushed out to undertake menial jobs. Through this, they migrate to the south to work as head porters in the markets and live on the streets of Accra and Kumasi. Some of them even die there without anybody noticing. They either come back pregnant or infected with sexually transmitted infections. Those who also decide to stay here as a result of frustration tend to abuse drugs and get themselves into all forms of criminality, for example, armed robbery and internet fraud. National leaders should help the youth out of the streets so they can be transformed into better citizens. This should be done by getting education interested youth on the streets back to school, and those who think school is not meant for them should be equipped with skills of handiwork such as tailoring, hairdressing, carpentry, masonry, among others. They should also be provided with capital to start their own business once they are done learning. They should try as much as possible to provide employment to parents and guardians so that adolescents are not pushed to the streets in the name of undertaking menial jobs. National leaders must also include these problems in the budgets of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly and the manifestos of politicians so that it can be addressed as a developmental issue and will be raised at election campaigns and other fora. As the national leaders play this role, I as an adolescent will also impact society positively by aiming at enriching the highest level of education in order for me to understand the urban context so I can help in breaking the vicious cycle of poverty in Tamale and beyond. I'll also contribute to social change by knowing my rights and responsibilities and joining strong youth clubs in order to take part in decision making, where I will help in projecting the problems of adolescents with a much louder voice so that the national leaders can come to our aid. Instituting rewards and incentives by the youth to students who stay in school till they celebrate their 21st birthday, and girls who get pregnant, give birth, and still have the courage to go back to school will help eliminate a lot of social vices in the society of Tamale and other rural areas. This can be done with the help of non-governmental organizations. As a young person, I want to make changes on how adolescents live by being a role model through completing my education without getting pregnant and reaching the highest level of education. I'd like to seize this opportunity to say a very big thank you to the Bosnia Healthy Cities for Adolescents, Ghana, Tamale program for giving adolescents a chance to speak in order to bring social change. Congratulations as well, as the program has begun impacting on lives of adolescents such as me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nazrat. I do feel, what you have highlighted is really heart-wrenching. So many vulnerabilities, so many, social injustice, inequities, child labor. I mean, people are being exposed to terrible things because of COVID-19. And I do feel that some countries, the response has been slow. And what is it doing is, how do you break the vicious cycle of poverty, which a lot of people have been now pushed in that ladder of abject poverty? And I think this is where the highlighting the impact of, just online education, issue of access, unemployment of youth, the mental pressure on young people has not been, spoken about much. And I am glad that you are highlighting this during this webinar. The absolute critical issue moving forward that national governments, city governments need to address. And your call for allocating budgets for this kind of response that will include support for young people. Thank you so much for a comprehensive, not only comprehensive, really well argued point during this webinar on this topic. I would now like to move to Latin America. Our program there is in Colombia, and our young representative, Juan David Uribe, is a 15-year-old student from Cali. He has participated in several model UN events and is interested in political science. So Juan, may I invite you to take the floor, the virtual one, and share with us the city you live in, how it has been affected by COVID-19, affected you and your community, as well as, what is your call to your leaders, national and global? What should this decade bring to you guys as young people?
Okay, well, thank you for that introduction. As it was stated, my city is located. I live in Cali. My city is located in the southern part of my country, along the equator and the Cancer Tropic, which gives us with a delightful weather and very charming landscapes. It is home. My town is home to about 2.2 million people. We're known around the globe for our traditional salsa dancing and our very euphoric and constant festive and elated behavior. However, this was really abruptly changed with the arrival of COVID-19, as it was worldwide. The joyous sound of all that music during all the weekends and the partying really receded in favor of much more quiet nights and really boring days. There was really no one to be seen outside on the streets, just enjoying music or dancing. And that was a really big shock on how we were accustomed to seeing the city. Now, most people my age were used to maybe meeting after classes on Fridays and just enjoying each other's company. But this all really stopped really abruptly, may I say. So that left us really shocked and really disoriented, because our realities were very much changed and nothing was really the same. However, we really had to adapt, which has been, the process of adaptation has been really mentally and physically exhausting. So I personally was one of the people that took this the hardest way. My mental health was really affected. I tend to became very much anxious and really sad and just really bad feelings, but I didn't want to be left on the ground. So I really rose up in the way and I took with me as many people as I could. I tried to make sure that there were sufficient mental health and social health outlets, and also planning different physical activities in order to keep all of us distracted and very functioning well. For instance, during the first few days of lockdown, I tried to stay in touch with the people I'd usually see on the daily, classmates of mine, and that I really realized that I had lost contact with for about 2 weeks. I didn't even remember them. They weren't even on the radar, which was a really worrying situation because I was forgetting about my friends, about my acquaintances that I really cared about. Furthermore, I tried to establish or make several Zoom meetings with friends and acquaintances in order to talk for a while and check in on each other, just checking in on each other mentally and physically. Just ask the question, how are you doing? How's this treating you? How do you feel? So I try to put all my friends together for us to work out, you know, to just not only leave it at the mental checkup, but also take it to physical level. So I wanted for us to work out together through Zoom meetings because it kind of took off our minds of the very overwhelming situations that we were all facing, both academically and with the whole pandemic. And we're still facing this type of situations, but I'm still trying to establish this kind of distractions in order to keep us functioning, in order to give a sense of normality. So I'm trying for us to stay, well, as close as we can while we're social distancing and to look after our mental health and our physical health. So in regards of what part national and local governments could have done to promote, or well, can do to promote the role of community-led actions to support healthy cities, I do believe that in order to live on a greener and safer planet, we must work together as a whole. There's no maybe duties to the government or duties to population or citizens. The government institutions should be the first to promote both economically and socially these community-led actions toward healthy cities. My city still has a long way to go in terms of becoming healthy and in terms of becoming sustainable and all green. But certainly achievements have been made throughout the years. I mean, in the past 5 maybe years, there has been a lot of achievements done in order to promote a much greener, a much healthier city. So both from community-led activities and the government, these achievements have been made. So that's where I come with this sense of joint work in which it's not only the government's duty or it's not only the community's duty, but to work as a whole in order to achieve a common goal. Well, that's where the success leads. So I think it's important for us to know that all of us have to work together and support each other towards our common goal, which is healthy cities, and towards our common goal, as was stated previously, the pandemic. We have to get through this together. So thank you for that. Thank you for opening this space for young leaders to share our ideas, to share what we're doing to help our communities, and maybe to expand these type of projects.
Thank you, Juan. I think this is just fantastic. What you are outlining is actually simple steps to reach out to your community during this pandemic to keep a sense of normality. You know, isolation, doing just the normal things, it's become so difficult. The new normal is isolation. The reality has changed overnight, and young people have, due to loss of contacts and friends, have suffered, yet they're not really center stage. Their suffering is not center stage during this pandemic. And I think the mental health and social health, the depression, these are very real issues that we need to now look at. How do governments, how do, community-led action address these issues? And COVID is not going away as much as we are hoping it would. And, the call for green and healthy cities that you've got, you're calling out to your leaders. What I'm hearing is you're calling for shared responsibility. You're calling for young people and leaders, national leaders, to come together in dialogue so that everyone can help each other to address this huge crisis we are all suffering from. Thank you so much for this, articulating it so clearly to us. Really appreciate. Moving on, the last speaker for this section of the webinar is my very good friend Shamoy Hazare. Shamoy is been a leader, and Shamoy basically, is a part of UN Habitat's stakeholder youth leadership, supporting UN Habitat in its youth strategy. What I would like to ask Shamoy is to talk a little bit about yourself, Shamoy. You joined the movement of young people's participation years and years ago, and now you're a young leader. You are an entrepreneur. So I'll get you to talk about yourself, but I would like you to now, as a concluding remark for, on behalf of young people, is to reflect on how do young people define a healthy city? As a young leader, how would you define a healthy city? What are the critical elements that governments must include in planning a healthy city to ensure that cities are for everyone, especially for young people. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. And it's such an honor to listen to all my colleagues, all the young people talking about their experiences, but more so the action, the local led action that they have managed to organize and implement. It's fantastic. And I want to say thank you to the hosts and the co-hosts and all the organizers of this webinar. It's just such a great privilege. So I am, like Jyoti said, my name is Shamoy. I am actually from Jamaica. So I'm a part of the Latin America and Caribbean region. And I have just been listening to everyone, and pretty much you've defined what a healthy city is. It's about, looking at the interconnectedness of just the health of people and the health of the natural and human ecosystems. And without that, we don't have a healthy city. And so we're looking at the fact that we need to sustain physical and mental health of the people who live in cities, who live in communities specifically. They need to have access to education and training opportunities. They need to create, governments and other stakeholders, private sector need to create economic opportunities. And very importantly, we need to live in harmony with nature, because what we're seeing is that mental health and well-being can only be sustained through a healthy environment, a healthy natural environment, and healthy human ecosystems and environment. And we find that through encouraging civic participation. The fact that you all manage to get beyond your personal issues, your professional issues, and you rose above all the challenges that you have to actually create opportunities, not just for yourself, and create systems in a way that actually sustain your mental health and well-being, but also you reached out to people in your communities, people in your cities. That's just fantastic. But the only way that can be sustained is if governments, is if stakeholders, is if our global leaders actually work together to create and to strengthen ecosystems, local ecosystems. The way in which we move forward is not just looking at things at a city level, but looking at action from a community level. We need to all look at the value that communities bring to city development and to national development, regional development, and in extension, global development. And I think what COVID-19, this pandemic, has taught us is that the future is not through national, not through national actions, but through community-led actions. And we're seeing here the value of young people. From my experience as once adolescent, a young person in the system, and now a youth leader, what I've found working with over 900 young entrepreneurs and change makers globally is that they are highly innovative. Young people are the most technologically savvy population. And so they have the ideas, they have the innovations, and they have the technical know-how. And I think governments and the leaders need to realize this, that they have the skills in order to contribute significantly to both local development, straight up to global development. But the only way they can do that is to be integrated into systems that are actually making change, that are actually making decisions. That is the only way, because it's one thing to say you're giving young people a voice and you speak on issues, but then what happens after that? Are they being taken seriously? Are they being engaged in policy and policy development and policy restructuring? Are they being involved in in actual implementation and to define what a healthy city means to them, to actually truly go into their communities and cities and to help with co-designing. And I think that is where the future lies, to actually truly engage young people. And so because as the founder and CEO of Radical Global, we wholeheartedly believe in that. And what we're doing is actually, we are focusing on what's already going well. And so we have a number of resources, we have a number of organizations that are doing fantastic job to actually support young people and to support change makers. The issue with that is that many times they're not working together and they don't have a space to actually access young change makers and to truly support them. And so what we do is we create a space for that. We create a space for collaboration, we create a space for change makers, innovators, and service providers, our leaders, to actually work together to build, to support young people to build businesses that will eventually lead to realizing the Sustainable Development Goals and actually promoting more healthy cities, strengthening and building the circular economy. Because I think it's only through engaging young people to actually make things better, to create better services, that we're actually able to build resilience against, pandemic like COVID-19 and future crises. And so what we do is we connect young people with resources that are already existing in the system. We strengthen these systems at the local level, and we provide global resources, and we give them the tools to actually measure their impact. Because once you've measured your impact and you show that you are making a significant input in the development of your city and urban resilience, you find that you now have a place in the global stage, you now have a voice. And so we share your impact and we share your data with global leaders, and to give young people a voice and to truly help them to not only sustain themselves economically and sustain their well-being and mental health, but also to create jobs for other young people, to build and to develop like local production networks in their communities. And I think that's just, really the way to go. Thank you.
Shemoy, thank you so much. So well said. I mean, there's nothing else to even add. It's just so well-rounded. You have summarized the important points of all the young representatives here. You've also brought what really stays with me is your call for that young people need to be integrated into the systems that actually take into account ideas and solutions that are being proposed by them, that can be put into action and practice. And that's when they are at the table. That's when they are not just heard, but they are able to influence, they're able to co-create, they're able to integrate their work into everyday planning and action of a city. Thanks very much for this. On that note, I'm actually going to ask our technology friends to try and see if we can bring at the end of this session, we will then move on to a UN Habitat-led session, but we would like to bring in the video message from Executive Director, Ms. Maimouna of a UN Habitat, if that is possible now. Thank you.
Friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and most especially young women and men, a very happy World Cities Day to all of you. I am honored to be here with our friends, the Foundation Botna and the International Society for Urban Health. I would like to congratulate both of you on the continued success of the Healthy Cities for Adolescents program, a program which promotes young men and women as change agents and equal partners and contributors. We at UN Habitat have the same philosophy, pioneering what we call youth-led development, which places youth at the center of their community's development in programs such as the One-Stop Youth Resource Centers and through engagement in digital participatory planning through platforms such as Minecraft. I'm very happy to see as well all the young people here from the Healthy Cities program from Vietnam, India, Colombia, Senegal, and Ghana, as well as UN Habitat Youth Allies Isaac Muasa, coordinator of Matare One Stop, and Samoy Hajare, who is one of my advisors on stakeholders issues. I also understand that the Future Cities Challenge winners will be announced today. We congratulate you all for your visions and your commitment to change. It is all these people who make up our global community. The theme of World Cities Day 2020 is valuing our communities and our cities. Communities are innovative, creative, resilient, and proactive in terms of finding solutions, particularly during crisis. The success of community mobilization globally is key to stopping the spread of COVID-19, assuring that we are prepared for climate change and critical to addressing inequality. The COVID-19 pandemic has clearly demonstrated the role of community-led initiative and the role of young men and women in making cities resilient and functional. Communities have organized to respond to the disruption of food and economic supply chains and to support many vital city foundations. In informal settlement and slum, young men and women have taken on leadership roles in their communities and are grappling with the additional hardship created by COVID-19 and making a significant contribution to local responses. On this World Cities Day, as we launch the 2020 World Cities Report, it is more important than ever that we consider how diverse our communities can be better recognized, supported, and their qualities maximized in new ways that move beyond token engagement. I would like to end by again congratulating you on your leadership, your commitment, and your vision for the future. We will get through this pandemic together, and it is you who will lead us to a new normal and help us build back better and greener. Thank you. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, and most especially young women and men.
Well, we got to hear her again. That's good. I really want to thank Ms. Memuna for taking the time to send this message. Very, very important for us, and especially for her to be able to speak out to all of you as a community. I think what she's highlighting is that young people during this crisis have been more resilient than we ever thought. They've taken leadership roles in addressing significant issues, as well as made significant contributions while they've been grappling with hardships. Their families have been affected by hardships, and they themselves. So thank you again. On that note, continuing with UN Habitat, as Ms. Memuna talked about the Future Cities Challenge, we are actually going to be now talking about a challenge, a Young People's Challenge, which was floated this month the call was for Foundation Botnar and UN Habitat was asking young people to send their innovative solutions. To talk more about this and the winners of this challenge, I would now like to introduce my wonderful colleague from UN Habitat Innovation Unit, who will be leading the next section, sharing with us the information on this Urban October event. Pontus Westerberg is leading the innovation projects at UN Habitat. Welcome, Pontus, and over to you.
Thank you, Yayati. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful session to listen to so far. And as Yayati was saying, I work in UN Habitat's innovation unit with issues to do with smart cities and digital technologies, and also challenge-driven innovation. And I was one of the judges of this challenge competition that we called the Future Cities Challenge. It was launched by UN Habitat and the Botnar Foundation on the 18th of September, so just over a month ago. And the aim was to give young people from all over the world an opportunity to use their innovation and creativity to think about what their ideal future city would look like. And so the competition was open to young people and children aged 10 to 24. And the deadline closed Friday, a week ago. And we received more than 70 fantastic submissions from all over the globe, including from India, from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Colombia, from Venezuela, Bangladesh, and many more. I was going through as a judge all the submissions this week, and it was just amazing to see the creativity, the effort, and the fantastic ideas that came out of this challenge. We received lots of different types of submissions: videos, illustrations, paintings, comics, poems, writings, all sorts of really creative ways of presenting these ideas. We judged the submissions against 5 criteria, and they were creativity, innovation, urban transformation, youth engagement, and inclusivity and diversity. The results are now available. They're published on the Foundation Botnar website, and also soon on UN Habitat's website. And now I feel honored to officially announce the winners. I'd like to thank all the winners, and that we're really inspired by the work and the ideas. And of course, I would also like now to take the opportunity to thank all the participants for giving your time, energy, and sharing your ideas with us. Each winner will be awarded $1,000 that can be used for online educational courses. And we're looking to expand the global network of young city champions in 2021, as well as engage with you on other opportunities following the Future Cities Challenge submissions. Okay, I'm gonna try to share my screen now to see if we can go through each of the winners. Oh, now I see that my screen sharing is disabled. Can you enable my screen sharing, please? Sorry, it was working before when we tested it.
Yeah, is it not letting you now?
Now I got it. Okay, brilliant.
Okay,
Can everyone see my screen now? Excellent. All right. So this submission is by Corinne Viveros, Camila Valencia, Daniel Galicia, Andres Camargo, and Mario Gonzalez from Bogota in Colombia. And it's called Our Parkour. It's a video which I'll play now.
Youth believes in the future of our cities. Us, as architects, believe cities of the future must be designed engaging with the community in the process and getting to actually know the people we work with. Good news are that we don't have to start from scratch. Young people are leading the way, forming groups with positive initiatives to change the future. have to design room for them in the city. We locate abandoned spaces that could be transformed into a more inclusive, happier public space. And these are the results. The old walls are the base to create a parkour circuit to host the initial activity practiced by the youth group. Then, a new infrastructure decided to consolidate and multiply the possibilities of the public space, adding new activities like skateboarding, cycling, jumping, or even singing. The system continues growing and gathering new initiatives hand in hand with the community. This is how we are designing our future.
Thank you so much for this fantastic submission, which is imagining how we can develop public space to make it more accessible and inclusive for young people. And the submission used a lot of different creative ways of expressing this, including some design tools and video editing and images. Thank you. The judges really like this one. I'll go to the next one, which is called Elobio, and it's presented or submitted by Mikel Tatiana Zuluaga and Valentina Restrepo from Cali in Colombia, also in the topic of public spaces. And this is a design and approach to do with public spaces. And I will slowly scroll through the submission so that you can see it. So this is about promoting safe spaces for pedestrians and cyclists, children and youth, and especially women and girls. The Day of the Bicycle, El Día de la Bicicali. So promoting public spaces, encouraging people to engage in public spaces. You can see all the activities that are taking place there in Cali. Some parklet implementation. Brilliant. Thank you so much. I will go to the next one, which is called Child Friendly Dehradun, and it's submitted by Sabaresh Suresh and Harshita Pembasani from Dehradun in India. And this is related to transport, environment, and public spaces. And it's a kind of brochure / leaflet about a safe and easy and fun mobility vision for the city of Dehradun. Thank you very much. Also, a lot of different creative uses used here, or methods rather. The next one is by Maria Luisa Taroso Kawasaki, who is 21 years old, from Sao Paulo in Brazil. And it imagines how technology can be used to make informal settlements more inclusive and participatory. It's a comic, which is an idea for Villa Missionaria in Sao Paulo. So I said, all of these, if you want to go and have a close look, are also on the Foundation Botnar website. This story is based on an idea that I had a year ago. It's about a favela called Missionaria in Sao Paulo, which has some public space challenges. And she's saying that she cannot understand how the local government didn't know about these issues, and realized that perhaps technology, the internet, can be helpful here in terms of helping to map, collecting data, organizing the information and making it available to the community, And the internet is a way for people to be heard and a window to the whole world. Fantastic, thank you so much. I'll go to the next one, which is by Sadhvi Gupta, who's 17 years old, from Pagwara in India. And it's also a video, which I'll play now. Fantastic. There we go. All right, and the next one is by Aditya Singh from Caracas in Venezuela, who's 12 years old. And this one uses Minecraft to imagine a kind of a future neighborhood with space for a peace committee, rainwater harvesting, recycling, and many other things. Nice to see you. As someone who has been working a lot on Minecraft with our Block by Block program, I'm very happy to see Minecraft being used in this, of course, as well. The next one is by Lydia Gachao from Thika in Kenya, and it's a reimagination of Mama Ngina Park in Thika. Starts with some brief history of the park, and then talks about some of the safety concerns in the park and how a new design can create more clarity and safety. And she's used some architectural design tools here to imagine what this park could look like if it was redesigned. Thank you, Lydia. And then the final one is by Victor Ademu, who's 25 years old, from Abuja in Nigeria. And it's also a video. Thank you so much. Shall we, let's see if we can do this virtually. Should we give all the participants a clap, a hand? Should we see if we can do it online? If everyone takes off their mute button, and then we'll do an applause. It's been fantastic to be a judge on this challenge and see all the different creative proposals and all the fantastic ideas about how to make our future cities more sustainable, more inclusive, more participatory, more fun, not to forget. So thank you so much. And I think that my colleagues in the Bottner Foundation have been in touch with all the participants. If not, please, that will happen soon. So thank you, and back to you, Jayati.
Thank you, Pontus. This is so amazing. It's the tail end of my evening here, almost midnight, but I'm just so rejuvenated and full of energy just looking at all these entries. They are so ahead of our times, and they're so ahead of the adults of today. So I hope that these ideas get programmed somehow, and we are able to see them in actual practice someday. I just want to tell everyone we are at the end of our wonderful webinar. Thank you for all your presentations, your conversations, as well as your ideas and solutions. Please stay. We're going to have a group shot. And as we do that, I would like to say that, with this event, as I said, we are launching our global community of practice, and to promote healthy cities and livable cities. WHO, World Health Organization, actually has come up with a manifesto for healthy recovery of COVID-19. Was launched this May, and they have out of the 6 points in that manifesto, the 5th point is building healthy and livable cities. So I hope we are able to. I'm sure our this webinar is going to reach WHO representatives, and they're able to take some of these ideas and put them into action, their action plan. I would also like to say that please go to our website, citiesforadolescents.org, to start contributing to this platform, because this is really, it is a community, a global community. From local to global, we want to bring all young people, young leaders together to take action, as Shamoy is saying, to get integrated into the systems of cities and into the systems of national and global planning. So on that note, our Twitter handle is C4A Global. If you need to tweet any of this going forward, and keep in touch. We look forward to our journey together, and to progress healthy cities for all, especially for young people. Thank you all. We'll take a photo, and our tech friends will help us with that.
We got it, but Najat from Ghana, if you're still there, we would love to have you in it.
Yes.
Okay, maybe they're not available. We got it. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Stay well and go safe. Bye for now.